How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. I'm here with my fiance,
Thermites.
We are going over Dungeon Dice Monsters, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc. Very small arc for this one, but very packed full of goodness.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite arcs so far.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
It's hard because I am a fan of very long arcs, so Duelist Kingdom, very, very good. Love that as well. But Dungeon Dice Monsters, you're getting a new game post Duelist Kingdom.
Yeah.
I love that. Love just the new era of Yu-Gi-Oh! We're in with this. We're moving away from the 90s into the 2000s. Just there's so much that I love about this that could make it my favorite, one of my favorite arcs. Because Monster World is probably my favorite. Monster World's still probably number one. And then maybe Duelist Kingdom, then this. But top three.
Yeah, that seems very fair.
Yeah. And I think it is, again, because it's so short and everything like that. But, still, it is over a volume, so it's not that short.
Yeah.
I read shorter arcs in Shonen series. So, okay, there's a lot to get over. So, I guess first let's just talk about the character that was introduced in this. What was his name?
Ryuji Otegi.
Ryuji Otegi. Yeah, loved... I loved most of what we did with him. When he was very first introduced, I was like, oh god, this design looks awful. It's terrible. But as we went into it, the design started to solidify itself.
Right.
And yeah, but at the beginning, the way he was being drawn was just too much detail. There was too much detail, and then all the detail kind of got simplified into a little bit simpler of a design.
Yeah, it's a classic manga problem of like, oh, I know what I'm going to do for this character, and then I can't do this weekly, oh no.
Every time. And I'm normally not a fan of the hyper overly designed character. Like, when they have, like, so many strands of hair.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're not going to keep this up, and it doesn't look good. This is not something a 5-year-old could draw.
Yeah.
But he very fit with the aesthetic we're moving into the 2000s again. I talk about that for a long time in my reaction, so I'm going to try not to talk about that too much here. But there is so much flavor, so much vibes, so much amazing aesthetics in this arc. Moving into our new era of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's like, this is the most clean cut. Like, Duelist Kingdom ended last volume, and then this volume starts with Dungeon Dice Monsters, which manga, I don't see typically ever do that. Very rarely does it actually do that. So it was very, very cool to see that. Getting a fresh start, feeling like this is a new season. I imagine this will be a new season of the anime, but also, I don't even know if the anime did this or not. So, we'll get to that in a second. That's one of the big ones I want to ask questions about. But, about Ryuji, just, again, having somebody that I thought was like, oh, we're going to do this cool one-off arc thing. It's like, oh, no, you're actually very connected with, like, our main character / also, like, Grandpa. And do they say Grandpa Moto?
Yeah, take Grandpa Moto.
Because I always just say Grandpa, but I think they typically go with Grandpa Moto.
Yeah, a lot of people just know him as Grandpa, so I think that's fine.
That's fair, yeah. But yeah, getting more information on that, like seeing Grandpa look like a fucking Congo Bancho character in his past, and yeah, like there's just a lot going on there that I was not expecting. I was expecting it to be this very one-off kind of character that was just going to be a short story, but like now he might stick around. We might, get a little bit more of him from time to time, but not as like a bigger character in the same way that like Bakura became a bigger character, but he might pop back up.
Maybe. And yeah, I do think it's so extremely, like, we have this long arc that's all about specifically dual monsters, but also about, like, the Millennium Eye and getting into that lore. And so it's really nice to have this hard, like, refreshing moment of, actually, here's something that feels extremely different, even if it does tie back in some sense. It is just, like, this big, like, that's what you think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is gonna be from now on, but here's something a little bit different. I'm still willing to try other things.
And, like, like, Grandpa we've known really nothing about so far, and it's just kind of been like, oh, I guess he just had this Millennium Puzzle in his thing or whatever, in his shop. And he's always seemed like a little like, oh, I know about that ancient game that you fight with your souls and trap inside a jar, and he's always kind of known about this stuff. But yeah, getting the fact that like he used to be the king of the games, and I think this is the first time they've said king of the games.
I believe so.
Which is crazy that like the name of the series has taken however many, like over 100 chapters at this point to like name drop that. Because I don't think it's been said up to this point.
I don't think so.
But yeah, and it's not like, oh, Yugi, you were the king of the games. There's no, your grandfather was the king of the games.
Yeah.
That's just a dope, like, drop to have. We also have from the beginning of the arc all this, like, personal stuff with Grandpa.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Yugi doing the classic, yeah, my grandpa has this nice store, I want to support it, but also I'm gonna go support this big, giant new chain that's coming in. Which, again, very, very 2000s of, like, the new giant stores coming in and taking up the smaller places. Happened a long time before that, but I feel like that's when you sort of get a lot of media about that, like a lot of movies and TV shows about that.
Yeah, because it's
whether
also
that was actually happening primarily around that time.
Yeah, it's also this hard divide of, Grandpa can't compete with the store because it's not even just, like, get the same stuff, but sell it with a, like, small town vibe.
Yeah.
Because this new big store also has exclusive games that only they have.
Yeah.
So
and it's not even like, oh, we got an exclusive deal to sell this game. It's like, no, we made this game.
Yeah, like, tying into, in the same way that Kaibakor is a big deal, mostly just because they have the #1 gamer. To have it be like, yeah, this store is a really big deal because they have this guy who is a genius at making games who just only makes games for them.
Yeah. And yeah, like, it's easy to go like, yeah, they have Dungeon Dice Monsters, and that's cool, but it's like, Dungeon Dice Monsters is one of the games they had.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see all the other games that people love that they have as well. And Dungeon Dice Monsters is one of the first ones that I can fully see how it'll be playable in real life.
Yeah.
For the most part. You need the manual at some point or something like that. But, still, I can see how this is playable in real life, how it is cool, like, versus a lot of the other ones, it's like, Duelist Kingdom, it's, Dungeon Dice, yes. Well, oh, shit, what's the name of the game?
Duel Monsters.
Duel Monsters, Jesus Christ. Duel Monsters, I can also see how it's, playable in real life and stuff like that. It is the classic, like, it's never going to be as cool as the monsters actually come out of the cards and everything like that. Whereas, for Dungeon Dice Monsters, you could make it so where they would...
Yeah.
The only thing that would be difficult is how it randomly, like, each little capsule thing has, like, or each dice, not the capsule, the capsule monsters. Each dice has, like, a specific way that it unfurls.
Yeah.
And, like, you're supposed to, like, line them up perfectly and so that, but, like, how do you know where to put it down on the board if it's random? I mean, that can go into the gameplay too, maybe. But it's just, like, weird in that way. I think you should be able to take the pieces apart and arrange it however you want.
Right, it's...
Like, it unfurls always in the same way, but you can undo it and rearrange those little pieces of the dice.
That would make sense.
But then it also has the physical monster inside.
Yeah. Which is such a good, like, capsule monster-esque hook. Of, even if you don't play the game, you still have the dice that are all color-coded and they have a little monster inside. Like, I can see why that would take off as a big, like, you can only get them from that one store, which also adds this layer of exclusivity.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. And like, if you're only selling them at that one store, I think it's a high possibility that you might get, like, they would have all of them, and it's just up to which one you get, rather than the case with most of this stuff, which is like, yeah, people in this side of the country can have these, on this side of the country they'll have these, blah, 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 and then it's like, it's hard to trade because all your friends would have the same shit, and the other person has something different. Is someone, if you're like on the east coast of the US, someone in California probably has the one you want, and it's like, how are you supposed to fucking trade for that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, eBay is like the main one, but it's like, you don't have that, like, in-person trading sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this, having all at one store, I imagine would be a lot better. Or again, also like the capsule machine, where it's like, anything where, like, you get it out of, like, a capsule machine, you're gonna have to go all over fucking Japan to get that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't just gonna be able to get that one prefecture.
Yeah, and also, like, if it is the one store, they can also set, like, if they're selling the individual ones not blind bagged, they can also just go, like, this one is $50, but if you, get the blind bags, you might just get it, and then, holy crap, that's worth $50!
Yeah.
Even if you're not, like, gonna sell it to anyone else or trade it for that much, like, by, having the exclusivity, you can then set the values of, like, this one is insanely good, this one is not so good, and then, like, in the back, you can, decide on how regularly those come up in the blind bags, in order to make the blind bags feel less or more, like, valuable.
And I believe they would, because they're not really trying to make a ton of money or anything like that. They're just trying to make a splash, so that way they'll get Yugi, so that way they'll get the puzzle. Like, it's so round. I like that, all our villains in this series are always capitalists, but it's
yeah.
always like, but there's so many different ways you can do that,
Mhm.
and I really appreciate that. Like, these guys don't give a shit about them being the big store, taking over the town, or anything like that. They couldn't give a fuck about that. It's just to get Yugi to play their game.
Yeah, which is also just a cool way to have the dynamic of the series, like, involve these incredibly big characters or super important people, while still having a reason, like, why is it that our main character is getting involved?
Yeah.
I think a lot of modern series lean too hard on the reverse of, like, well, we don't want to have a chosen one, so this guy is, you know, you could be this guy, he could be anyone, but also the entire plot has to somehow get to him at some point.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Yugi being so important and, like, you know, building up his importance as the series goes on, whether it's because of the puzzle or because he beat Pegasus, like, it creates a strong reason why all these people would want to specifically set up these crazy things just to get at him.
Yeah.
Or get at his grandpa, or, like, however it goes.
And I don't think you can't, like, the Chosen One is also very different from, like Yugi is definitely the Chosen One, in a way, and stuff like that. It depends on really how this Millennium Item stuff works.
Right.
I mean, it seems like there are a specific number of chosen people and stuff like that. It's not just like, oh, if your heart's in the right place, then you become a chosen one.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But still, there's also the, like, if you just say, like, oh, they could just be anybody, then it's like, you really have to sell that on it could just be anybody, but most of the time it creeps into, like, and they're super genius, and they're super strong, and they always know what to do in the situation.
Yeah, it kind of just goes back to, so they were a chosen one in some way.
Yeah. Like, they're not the chosen one, but they're also not just, that could be you.
Yeah.
Like, it is always, if you're gonna tell a story about somebody, it's, you know, there's got to be a reason, right? And so, like, they're like, oh, all this, like, coincidental stuff happens to them, or, like, oh, they're pretty smart and pretty strong, and they always know what to do in these situations. It's like, well, that's why the story's being told about them. It doesn't need to be, oh, that could be you.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why we're following this person, because it's a unique story. But yeah, going back to all that, like, yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about that aspect of it. Just that getting all that, like, personal stuff with Grandpa at the start, and then at the end getting the big, he was the king of games, the whole, what the fuck was it called that they did, the game in that, like, circle thingy? I'm trying, what was the name?
What they called it? It was just like the game of death, maybe?
So maybe that's so many the game of death.
We've already had a literal the game of death.
We had two. But yeah, I don't think they say the name of the game. It's just an ancient ritual.
I'd say the closest game we get is, or the closest name we get is the Devil's Board Game.
Oh, the Devil. Okay, yeah, there it is. The Devil's Board Game. But yeah, interesting. Like I do love getting, like, these old ancient games and stuff like this. The fact that it's played with, like, two little pieces and dice is so interesting compared to, like, you know, how ancient it is and everything like that.
Yeah.
But it is, you know, I love that it is a ritual and a board game. Like, in ancient times, do they call it a board game? Because why would they call it a board game?
But yeah, I really do appreciate also that, like, we never play the Devil's Board Game. Like,
No.
Yeah, it was played in the past, and we set it up, and, like, the board game physically is important to, you know, like, how they get out of the burning room and all that.
Yeah.
But it's so surprising for a series like this, where Takahashi always, like, you know, introduces the game, and then we play the game in some way, to just have it be like, no, we're not going to do this one, because, like, it's going to either kill, like, Mr. Clown, or it's going to kill Yugi or make him ultra old.
Yeah.
Like, there's
We
no
just
getting
can't do
around
it.
it.
Yeah. I really, really appreciate, like, this series knows when to actually do something and when it's like, you know, it'd be cool to bring this up, we don't need to actually do it.
Yeah, because, like, just visually, you can also tell exactly what the game is. It is you roll the dice, you move the pieces, like, it wouldn't be that interesting.
Yeah, like, you get it already.
Yeah. The idea is way more compelling than actually seeing it.
Yeah. And, well, I don't think this is that. The Yugi versus Junichi that we never got. You know, I don't think that would be like just the idea of it is better than actually getting it. It is something that's like, it just wouldn't make enough sense, so we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do think it's cool that the anime did it. I considered reacting to that, but you kept saying, wait. But yeah, love getting, you know, again, another board game in this. Just love the whole occult stuff that we were getting in this as well. Like, up till now, most of the ancient game stuff we have has not been very occult.
No.
It's just been very, like, very surface level aesthetic, but not like, very deep in like a certain culture or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like even the Egyptian stuff, it's very surface level aesthetics, but not like getting very deep into it. But this was like the first one where we went very deep into it, and just the vibe of the room with all the candles lit and everything like that, and all these like secret rooms within this place.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely fucking loved it. The clown, yikes, not a good one, not a good one. I mean, it's like, you know, all clowns are based off minstrel shows and stuff like that, but this clown went real heavy with that.
Fair, yeah.
But also just what a insane character, what a wild character. Don't have much to say about him. You know, you can get my reaction for the big reacty moments to it. There's nothing in depth to talk about. Just, you know, one of those villains that's just so insane that every time they speak, it's just like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
But no specifics. But yeah, like I love Yu-Gi-Oh villains for that. Like you have the ones that are very, very like, oh yeah, I kind of want to root for you, and the other ones that are just like, how are you alive? How do you go? What's your day-to-day life like?
Yeah, like how do you have this, you know, empire of, you know, of a game store?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it seems like mostly the son, I guess.
But even then, like, he had to raise his son.
Yeah.
And well, the only thing we know about him raising his son is, I made you as a weapon in order to kill Sugoroku. So honestly, Ryuji turned out way better than you'd expect.
Yeah. Oh. And then we also, at the very beginning, had the, like, rigged games that we were doing at the school with Ryuji and Junichi and stuff. I really thought that was going to be our whole arc thing going forward. Junichi being like you're going to be my dog and just do whatever I say and stuff like that. And I really thought that was going to be a much bigger thing, but it was so small, and Yugi, like, you know, got him in the end and everything like that.
I will say that was a bit bigger in the anime, rather.
Okay.
Like, the anime loves the fact that Kaiba called Junichi a dog and he was obsessing over it. So, like, for this whole ass arc in the anime, he's in a fursuit. And there's just a bunch of girls, like, kicking him in the balls and screaming at him.
Now this I gotta see! It seems like I really should watch the anime. The anime's got a lot of good stuff in it.
It's got some stuff.
I want to see Shinochi. Are you telling me when he's pulling Yugi out of the fire and talking about friendship that he's in a fursuit?
Well, they changed all of that, to be fair, sadly.
Oh my god, they changed all that?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Well, okay, let's just get into the anime now.
Okay.
What happens in the anime? Go through the arc for me.
So, the big change is there's no Mr. Clown in the anime.
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it's weird, because then I don't know what the story is at all.
Like, they reframe Ryuji's whole deal to just be, I'm upset because, like, I can't contact Pegasus anymore after the, you know, Yugi beat him. So it was the big, like, I've had this, you know, dream in order to, you know, publish this game. I was the one who built this entire store. Don't have a dad.
Don't have a dad.
Just not gonna mention the dad. So this is purely my revenge on you, Yugi. And he doesn't bring up any of the magic stuff.
Okay.
Like, we do get later on the, like, Yugi being in a burning building and the puzzle gets nailed to something and he has to, you know, like, Junichi has to save him.
Okay.
But that's all in an arc, like, right after this one. Like, they split that completely away from the Otogi stuff.
Okay. Was that like an anime original arc?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's a lead-in into the next arc that's completely anime original.
Okay. I guess I shouldn't know about that because it's leading into the next arc, which I don't know anything about.
Yeah, I'll bring that up, like, when we do the next discussion.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's going to be a long way away.
But yeah, so that does hurt this arc in the anime.
Oh, yeah. Because, yeah, I think the story in this arc is extremely, extremely strong. You know, you got the generational trauma going on. You got, like, the breaking the chain. You know, all the shit I fucking love.
God, I love the chain stuff for, you know, coming up so early on as just a literal, like, I've switched, you know, it over to a chain because I'm scared someone's going to take the puzzle again.
Yeah.
And that being, again, like, the reason why he can't rescue the puzzle in the end because he put the chain on. But it's layered with, you know, like, even Dark Yugi's like, yeah, this is a great idea. I love the chain. You should put chains on your wrist to be super dope looking. I love that panel. He's so, like, just encouraging Yugi, and Yugi's like, oh no, it's too flashy. I don't want it.
Even though he had onks on his arm at the beginning.
But yeah, like, in the anime loses a lot of its strength, also because the puzzle is not taken away. Otogi's not interested in the puzzle in any real way. Yeah. So this arc is also Dark Yugi is in control. Dark Yugi's the one playing the game, and it just kind of is it's a more standard arc because of that.
Yeah, it seems very, uninteresting in the anime, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a thing between two bigger arcs, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. It's way more generic.
Yeah.
The only the funny things are, of course, Joji being in the fursuit.
Yeah.
Because he's now Ryuji's dog, he has to cheer for him, and all the other, girl cheerleaders are punching him, going "Oh, you dog! How dare you insult your master!"
Who's the other girl cheerleaders that are here? Also, they're in the room the whole time? I guess I guess it doesn't matter in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just 3 other girls who are in love with Ryuji, who are just hanging out and also forcing Joji to cheer for him.
Okay. Were they introduced in the school part of it and then carried over?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, that seems likely.
He had a small little harem of girls who were all on him, going "Oh, Ryuji's the coolest guy in the world! Holy shit!"
Yeah. So did how does the arc end in the anime?
Dark Yugi beats Ryuji, and then Ryuji gives his whole backstory, and they're well, it's not a great ending. It is just basically I'm sorry, we're not the ones who who stopped Pegasus from working with you. We don't know where he is, because they genuinely don't know. Because of course Bakura, at the end of the previous arc, we do get a little expansion on that, where they shot laser beams at each other. There's this whole segment where Bakura and Pegasus meet up in a tower, and Bakura grabs Pegasus' deck and uses it to do some occult fortune telling, where he's "This card means this about your past. This card means this about your future.
Okay.
And, this means you have no future." And then shoots a laser beam out of his Millennium Ring at him, and Pegasus is "Oh no, you don't!" and shoots a laser beam out of his eye.
What are these Millennium items?
Pegasus gets beaten, eye gets ripped out. That's the same as in the manga.
Yeah.
And then we have this ambiguous, what happened to Pegasus? Then the next arc is just Ryuji can't get in contact with Pegasus, so what happened there?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because so in the anime they know about they know they can't get in contact with Pegasus. That's what's going on. So I wonder if the next arc's gonna have to do with that or not.
Yeah. The other big thing is also we don't get a lot of Dark Bakura with Yugi, which is one of the standout things about this arc in the manga.
Yeah.
In the anime, they kind of just cut that out because it is Dark Yugi in control, winning the game.
Yeah. Which is crazy to me, because I have to assume Bakura is the main villain of the series. They really seem like they've been setting him up from the beginning. You think it's Kaiba, but Kaiba's gonna slowly become more of an ally character. Pegasus, I don't know what the fuck they could do with Pegasus anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Bakura seems like the main villain. Even Pegasus was okay, Pegasus is gonna be our main villain. And then Bakura just rips his fucking eye out, and it's Yugi beat him first try.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's just interesting how that's gonna go.
Yeah, because also Bakura's in the shadows. In Duelist Kingdom, it feels like he's just kind of irrelevant, but then the ending is a really hard oh fuck, what does this mean?
Yeah. He is the wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, he's just kind of around the whole time. And then, this arc is really, even at the end of Duelist Kingdom, it's oh no, something bad's going on. But this one, it is the real, I don't know how the anime does it or that, but he's in Yugi now. A piece of Dark Bakura is inside Yugi now.
Mm-hmm.
How did it happen again? Because he puts a piece of him in the puzzle, and then puts the puzzle back together.
Yeah. Yeah, he takes one piece of the puzzle, puts a little bit of his own soul into that piece specifically, and then says, "Hey, here's another piece. I forgot."
Yeah. So it's gonna start egging on more of the evil in what do they call it? The evil consciousness or something?
The evil intelligence.
The evil intelligence.
The Millennium items have an evil intelligence.
Yeah. So I assume that evil intelligence inside Dark Yugi is going to be starting to spur more and more, just as Yugi and Dark Yugi have been talking more and communicating more and doing no, you can't just kill everybody, Dark Yugi. Now it's gonna be the maybe I will do a sneaky little kill.
I also do appreciate that this is very watered down in the anime, much better in the manga. it is, Dark Bakura who keeps on, like, showing up. Like, at the end of Duelist Kingdom, he's there. It's an ambiguous, like, are you an ally? Are you an enemy?
Yeah.
This arc, continues that on, and that he is the one who's rooting on for Yugi. He's the one who's saying, you can't, solve the puzzle. It has to be Yugi. Yugi is the only man in this world who can solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
Like, he's giving the moral support. He's also, like, giving Yugi a little hint on how to, win.
Mm-hmm.
It is this clear, like, in the same way that Dark Yugi, we had the big, like, oh crap, is he evil when he tries to kill Kaiba?
Yeah.
It is the big, like, well, like, this is the same thing of, we know Dark Bakura was evil in Millennium World, but, even if both of them are evil, they can change.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Yugi is changing, so why can't Dark Bakura? Like, why shouldn't Yugi trust him? If his other half, the person he cares about so much, the person he was willing to die for, if he could become better, why can't Dark Bakura?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really makes you question a lot of stuff, whereas I feel like, somewhere other, like Kaiba and Pegasus, I feel like you have a pretty good grasp on, like, where they are at all points. Versus Bakura is the constant question of what's going on. I mean, also, it would feel very fitting for our final villain to be someone with the Millennium items rather than, just a person like Kaiba. I don't think is ever going to have a Millennium item. I'm not sure if he's ever even going to learn about Millennium items. I mean, maybe towards the end, but even next arc, I don't think he's going to learn about Millennium items.
Okay.
And my big guess for next arc is that it's going to be a big, like, Yugi and Kaiba thing.
Okay.
Like, gonna have to be working together, or maybe not working together, but another thing where maybe we'll just do another tournament or something, where it's gonna be Kaiba as a major part of the arc this time, as opposed to like coming in towards the end. Because there's nothing that he's like busy with right now that we know of. And so I'm expecting him to come back and it to be a, like, beginning of the arc, he shows up, what, you're also doing this? Oh, I can't believe that. And, like, just by nature of just being around them, it's going to be an interesting dynamic there. Because, obviously we're probably going to also introduce some other big new characters and stuff like that. But that's my real only guess. I know it's called Battle City. It's the only thing I know about the next arc. Don't have any guesses based off of that. Just that, going to a new city, I guess. Domino City, very small town vibe. Battle City. Where the fuck is Battle City? It seems like going to Tokyo is kind of what I imagine it's going to be like.
Sure. I can see that.
So either that or going to, where is what's like the Osaka hub of Japan? What the fuck is that place called? Akihabara. Like either going to Tokyo or going to like an Akihabara type place. Okay. Because I think as opposed to like it's the otaku hub, it would be like it's the dual hub. It is like the game hub, which might also be true of Akihabara, maybe.
Maybe.
Either way, that's my guess for that. So, I was just saying that just because we were talking about Bakura and the villains and everything like that. But yeah, all the stuff we got with Bakura in this, extremely, extremely fascinating. I'm staking my claim that he's going to be the final villain of the series, as well as what I've been kind of guessing, which is that like the main, there's the puzzle and then there's the ring, and all the other ones are a smaller deal. Okay. But like the puzzle's the big one, which I think we did learn that at the end of Duelist Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just also how it is on the sarcophagus. You have like all these other pieces just like on the body, and then like right here is the puzzle and the ring.
Yeah.
And so it really feels like the ring is the bad and the puzzle like also it's the thief. It's like the like all these other things feel like pharaohs have been like have put their souls in here or something like that. Whereas the ring is like, no, that's just like a thief and we didn't know what to do with him, so we stuck him in here. Or he accidentally got stuck in there, like while he was trying to steal, and they don't even know that. But yeah, so he's the one trying to open the door and all that. I really thought like, oh, we got all our mystery, already. Duelist Kingdom was big, like, oh, I don't really have any theories because it's kind of all just stated now. And then next arc, it's like, okay, I don't know fucking shit. I don't know anything.
Yeah, I do love the big flip side of like, here's what you thought you knew. We're gonna confirm that, and then here's this other thing that that the ring is working towards.
Yeah. Okay, so what I mean, like anything else in the anime, like it just ends with Dark Yugi beating him, and then they just leave. Like, do his friends ever come in?
I believe his friends do come in, yeah.
Okay.
But it is, it's less high stakes. It is just more of a, like, oh, hey, look, Joji's a dog. / hey, you can do it.
Yeah. And then we don't get like any Dark Bakura or anything like that.
Not really. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it is just sort of a Ryuji sees the error of his ways, and he's like, "All right, I was blaming you for the wrong reasons. I'm still going to be a good game developer. Hope you can, that's everything. Like, we don't really get a lot of focus on Grandpa in that arc either.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So we don't get into the King of the Game stuff.
Not really. Yeah, we do some King of the Game stuff like earlier in Duelist Kingdom, but in a very different way. It is more just like brought up as a like, by the way, if you beat Duelist Kingdom, you become King of Games.
Okay. Why? See, that's so weird, because it's like you're beating one game, as opposed to Grandpa was the King of Games.
Yeah.
Which is also interesting, because it's like, Yugi is not the King of Games. Mm-hmm. Dark Yugi, maybe.
Maybe.
But, Yugi, not really.
Mm-hmm.
And I do, you did tell me at one point that the anime did do like you don't have to call me Dark Yugi, you can call me Yami, or King of Games. Or Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah.
Yeah, it is that's also so weird, because right now, we don't really know who Dark Yugi is. Like, they call him Dark Yugi.
Yeah.
But it is just sort of like this general, we don't know much about you, whereas he does just directly state, this is definitely non-canon, by the way, directly, but yeah, in the dub, he is just like, they called me many names in the past, like Yami, or Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is also important, because I've never said this before, because it wouldn't make any sense, but in the Japanese anime, Yugi and Dark Yugi switch the way they do in the manga, where like sometimes it's a big deal, sometimes you see the eye, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
In the English dub of the anime, every single time Yugi his eyes go white and he does this, and there's this big Egyptian beam of energy, and he screams, "Yu-Gi-Oh!"
How did his friends not notice this?
So this is kind of a small explanation as to why he yells Yu-Gi-Oh! Every time, because he is like calling in Yu-Gi-Oh! Who is the other Yugi? Because their voices also shift with the O.
Yeah.
So it is like Yugi yells Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is like Dark Yugi like shifting in.
Oh boy, I have heard Dark Yugi's voice in the dub now. Like, man, he sounds like a 40-year-old man.
Nah, yeah. That clip is also from like the sub, but it's like one time when they transform, I believe.
Okay.
They might use it once or twice in the in the Japanese version, but in the dub it is every single time he changes, he yells Yu-Gi-Oh!
I would also hope in the Japanese he's not screaming Yu-Gi-Oh!
But yeah, very different vibe.
Yeah. Oh my god. There's so like. It is that Ultimate 4Kids thing of, like, they're not trying to do an adaptation, they're trying to make a cartoon, like, just moving around shit and reanimating stuff and blah, blah, blah.
Because,
it's so hard to say, like, this is a shitty adaptation, because it's not. It's a new cartoon at that point. Oh.
Yeah, they do it also like once or twice for the movie dubs, where they can't just like splice in that footage. So instead, just during one of the changes, in the sub, it's just a quick change, and then the dub, you just hear Yugi screaming Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, the 4Kids Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff is so funny. Like, a lot of the 4Kids shit is so funny to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in One Piece, the very first episode, when Luffy has the big smile, and they're like, that's too big of a smile. Make that smile smaller. That's too big of a smile.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where it's like, I'm used to, like, Pokemon, where it's like, we're gonna eat a rice ball, so we're like, I'm gonna eat my McDonald's hamburger. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, like, they love hamburgers. And yet still, they go to a hamburger shop, and they'll change the name that's already in English to something else that's in English.
Oh, yeah, they changed Burger World to Burger Palooza.
Yeah, like, why? Burger Palooza is funnier. We gotta fully reanimate this whole scene now. And, like, all the cards are just insane. It was just like, why are you changing half these names when they're in English?
Gotta change Time Bomb to Gigant Bakudan.
Yeah, like, why? What is... Viz, the 4Kids, you're both terrible. But yeah, the dub stuff has been... Speaking of which, Ryuji Otaki...
Oh yeah, Duke Devlin. His name's Duke Devlin.
Duke Devlin?
Yeah.
So, okay. Again, I have, like, all the soundtracks and shit to edit my videos on. I've seen Duke Devlin.
Oh, yeah, that's him.
Oh my god, it's good that I do have the Japanese soundtrack and the English soundtrack. So there's some characters that I probably have seen the names of in the Japanese soundtrack that I'm gonna get to. But the English ones, it's good that I'm not really getting spoiled on any of these names. Because I'll see their name in their content, I'll use that song constantly, and it's not until we do the discussion I'm like, wait, that was that character? Oh my god. Anyway, so Duke Devlin.
Oh yeah.
So they kept the devil, but not really.
Not really.
Like, why is he called Devlin if they're not gonna do any of the devil stuff? So stupid.
The choices.
There are choices there. But yeah, the ending of this arc in the manga was the best shit we've gotten in the whole series so far. The Joji going into the burning building to save Yugi, the whole line of like, I am going to wait here at the other side of the river Styx until you finish this, or I'm going to drag you out myself.
I love that. I love we get the definite statement of, I will wait for you on the edge of the river Styx, but if you, I'm not going to let you die. I'm going to beat you if I have to, if it means getting you out.
I will beat you unconscious if I need to. Like, your life is more important than the thing that is the most important to you in life.
Yeah, and, this is one of the few times where you really see Yugi put his foot down, and it is a hard, I don't expect to even get the puzzle out. I just want to see my other self for one last time before I die. He doesn't say before I die, just, for one last time. And everyone immediately knows, oh, you're going to let yourself die for this. Yugi, what the fuck? Your grandpa's here, all your friends are here, none of us want you to do this. Yeah. But he is so adamant about, no, I need to do this, I will die. It's such a strong, positive and negative to him. It's such an immediate, I get how you're probably gonna die one day because of this.
Yeah. It's the first time where, Yugi has been I'm ready to, normally it's Dark Yugi saying, I'm gonna stake my life on this card draw, and it's no, don't do that, why? But with Yugi, he's never said anything like that, but this is the first time where it's a big, okay, Yugi's creeping into that territory too.
Yeah.
He's gonna just die during these duels one day. Yeah, to be fair, it's not like an adrenaline junkie type thing. That is just he while Junichi is willing to wait at the end of the river Styx, but he's still gonna pull him back at the last minute. Yugi's not that kind of person. He is the person who's I'm just gonna die here.
Yeah, he's
so ready to die.
He's a true gamer. It is that level of even his grandpa, who we know was a big gamer in the past, has enough respect to be well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to risk my life. You should risk your life on this. Come home.
Grandpa was shot out of a camera across the sea, bounced off the ground, went to heaven, saw his wife in heaven, had a talk, came back to Earth, and was I'm just gonna continue to work my 9-to-5 job, even though I know heaven's real and my wife's up there.
Oh yeah. I mean, we already talked a little bit about Grandpa, but I just wanted to reiterate, I do love how, he is the damsel in distress for so much of the series. He was the damsel before, he's the damsel in Duelist Kingdom, and at the end of the, at the start of this arc, we have the big, yeah, ha ha ha, I really did die, I went to heaven, saw your grandma. And then we get all the big shit about
it's not even that he died, it's just he was in spirit form. And it works like fucking Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse rules, where it just it bounces around.
It is physical. He did have to actually come all the way back to his body.
I love it.
It's such an insane thing to just kind of throw off as a side thing.
Yeah, and then Yugi's oh, Grandpa's so sad, I don't know why. And it's oh, well, it's because he just saw his wife in heaven, and now he's got to work his 9-to-5. And it's no, it's because there's a new store popping up. He's I can't compete with this.
I'm so mad about this store.
It's Grandpa, you just went to heaven.
I mean, speaking of Big Gamer Yugi, also, I'll get back to the fire in a second, but Big Gamer Yugi, he knows this is destroying his grandpa's heart, and he's still but I'm still gonna go there. I need to see this game.
Yeah.
And his grandpa knows this and meets him in the line and is I knew you were gonna do this, you little punk.
You son of a bitch.
This place is destroying me. I'm gonna wait in line too, though. We are gamers.
Gamers got a game.
But yeah.
Fire.
love the fire. Love seeing the like it is consistent throughout basically the entire manga that whenever we see Genouchi's feet, he's wearing the air muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Love seeing them again, especially in the fire, as this like very subtle reminder of like, yeah, this is this thing that Yugi got for him. He is in some way indebted to Yugi. Like, you know, they are friends. They're gonna fight until the end. They're there for each other.
Yeah, I'm so happy that the air muscles are like such a consistent thing that's around and everything like that.
Yeah. And just that, like, also just, Genouchi's strength is so consistent. We never do the scale back of, now things are more serious, so we're going to stop him being the strongest man in the world who can be beaten for 18 hours straight. Like, he gets out of this burning building where everyone's like, yeah, it's collapsing, anyone in there would die. Mm-hmm. He gets out with Yugi, and he's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, like, I don't know what... Junichi is stronger than most, like, superheroes.
Seriously?
He is so strong, and I love it. Because, yeah, they don't, like, make a huge deal about it or anything like that. Like, it is so consistent, but nobody ever points out, like, damn, Junouchi, you are insanely strong. And yeah, and like, Honda is like our powerhouse, and yet Junouchi is way more of the actual powerhouse.
Yeah.
But, like, both of them together are also incredibly strong.
Yeah, love the shot of them.
Oh, 1 second.
Oh no!
I didn't realize the AC was on. Turn that off. What were you saying?
Just that I love the shot of both of them kicking the door, because it is a hard, like, we're not going to spend, like, hours, or, like, you know, we're not going to spend minutes on this. We're not going to spend, like, a full page on, like, oh, are they going to be able to break it open in time?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they start going for it, they break it open, because you know they're that strong.
Yeah.
The main thing that is, like, you know, the big struggle is, like, even Genouchi cannot get the puzzle out of this pin.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a strong pin.
Insanely strong. Mr. Cloud really beat that thing in. And even there, we got the tiny little, like, ambiguous as to whether it is, like, Dark Yugi talking to Genouchi for a second, or if he's just being inspired by, like, oh, you know, if Dark Yugi was in the situation, he would, you know, figure out how to use this like a lever.
Yeah.
But either way, like, the one time where he does a really smart thing, where he's like, okay, I know how to do this, I'm just gonna take this probably priceless artifact from ancient, you know, from an ancient civilization. I'm gonna use this as a wedge, I'm just gonna kick it really hard to pop the puzzle out.
Yeah, and it worked.
It worked.
Like, yeah, and like, that doesn't make sense. Like, even as strong as you are, if you don't have the correct leverage, it ain't gonna budge. Yeah,
like, it's pointing straight up, so all Genouchi can do is, like, pull at a right, you know, like a right angle.
Yeah.
Which is naturally not gonna work very well.
Because, yeah, trying to pull something up like that is just, like, too difficult. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah. And it's a situation where, like, yeah, they can't just break the puzzle because the one loop is still in there, and the puzzle, if they leave it in there and just come back for it, it's gonna melt because it's made out of gold, which, you know, is very soft.
Yeah, it got a very low melting point.
Yeah, it is this perfect situation of just, like, there's so many sane things you could do, but because of Yugi being the one, like, unyielding factor of I refuse to leave until I've, like, said my goodbye to, you know, my other half. Like, everyone else has to work around and just accept, like, okay, this is not changing.
Yeah.
Like, even when he passes out, Genouchi, again, with his strength, cannot remove Yugi's hand from the puzzle. Like, this is the one thing where, like, Yugi is genuinely stronger than Genouchi. Genouchi cannot break this chain.
It is the death grip. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Like, and it is very interesting because, yeah, the whole arc is about breaking the chain of, like, I mean, it's not much of a chain going from, you know, father to son.
Small chain.
Small chain, but it's still about breaking the chain.
Yeah.
And like, I guess it's more about not creating the chain in the first place.
Yeah, like, I'd say Takahashi is very much against revenge in any form.
Yeah.
Like, that's come up a couple times. And this is the clear, like, it doesn't make any goddamn sense to to attack Yugi for what his grandpa did, just because, like, why? Doesn't make any goddamn sense. You've gone crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Kaiba's also in the wrong for getting revenge for something that is very justified to get revenge for. But it's also like this is way different than the Kaiba situation, where it's like, the Clown Man's at fault. Like, there's no, it's the false revenge.
Yeah, like, from the very start, he was the one who said, I'm gonna play the devil's game with you, Sugoroku. It's like, well, yeah, it's your fault for any of this.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Also, just, like, I'm so fascinated with his thought process of like, I'm going to make my son be an incredibly good gamer, so I'll break the puzzle, he'll fix the puzzle, he'll become, like, he'll get the evil intelligence, and then he'll go to Sugoroku and then beat him in a game and make him even more old.
Yeah. Gonna turn this old man older.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe kill him, which wouldn't be that bad, because again, his soul was just in heaven, or just passing by heaven.
And if he made him super old, I don't think he would care.
No. Like, yeah, Sugoroku's at peace. The main thing he'd be upset about is just, like, I can't sell more games.
Yeah.
God damn it, this store is still here.
Yeah, and now the store did burn down. I assume they're not going to build another one right next to Grandpa's store again.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a real asshole move.
Yeah. I also do just, like, love the name of the store being Black Crown with the big clown on it. Like, just good wordplay.
Mm-hmm.
It has this high-class feel to it, but it's also got the clown there.
Yeah.
I mean, clowns are just a big deal in Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. Like, there's so many clowns in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Seriously.
It's just a part of the universe. Everyone not necessarily loves clowns, but the universe itself loves clowns.
Yeah. I didn't think about it until you just said that, but yeah, there is a hell of a lot of clowns in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Anyway, the game itself.
Oh yeah, the
Let's talk about
game.
it. I mean, like, there's not a whole lot to say about that. I think that's more like a, go get the reaction for that. But yeah, loved the game. Again, I mean, we talked about, like, it's something I can imagine playing in real life. I would love to play this in real life. I know there is a physical version that is playable and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite work the same way as this,
It's not
but
great.
yeah. But yeah, I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it is the kind of thing where, like, I know a lot of people still like it. There's still multiple, like, projects online where they're trying to make a digital version. There is just a, like, Game Boy Advance game also that works better than the physical version.
Yeah.
The main problem is just, like, they didn't want to, I should say more than they couldn't do it, they didn't want to, like, make the little dice that you unfold.
Yeah.
And that, kind of kills some of the pleasure of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's so cool!
And it's so a small thing. I understand why. Like, it's so small compared to the dual stuff, which is going to continue for forever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I understand why, but it's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do just love the mystery of this arc as it's all unfolding. Like, what is this game? What's it going to be? Like, the other ones, we spend like a chapter or two on them.
Yeah.
And even then, I would sometimes consider those to be arcs. I've made arc videos in like 2 or 3 chapters. Well, at least for the reactions. The discussions are usually like, here's the whole school arc, here's ST, here's Monster World. But, like, where we first see the dice, and it's like, what the fuck could this be used for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, having no idea there's going to be monsters inside these dice.
Yeah, like, just the fact that the game itself is sold as just DDM.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're just using their reputation as a good game store to be like, yeah, you're going to buy DDM. We're not going to tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, just buying the things is the first time we were like, oh, I guess there are dice involved in this thing. I don't know what it is. It's just a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, such a strong flex.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, it was so cool just seeing them, like, okay, so it's dice. Oh, okay, there's monsters inside the dice. Oh, okay, the dice make a dungeon.
Yeah.
Like, you just slowly get it over the course of it. And, like, there was no moment where I'm like, okay, this is bullshit. This is not how this should work. This is dumb. Like, there's so much of that in
Duel Monsters.
Duel Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to remember the name of all this shit. It's just too much dueling.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I appreciate how well thought out the game is, and how immediately, like, realistically appealing it is.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that is, like, a thing you couldn't do in real life is the holograms, and that is set up in universe for a long time. It's just like, yeah, of course, the hologram technology exists, and Ryuji was working with Pegasus, so of course he'd be able to build something like this.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, it's just, this game is the most, that, like, I loved Capture Monsters, but this game is the most, like, I want to play this. Like, the card game, yes, but this, yes.
I know some people even headcanon that, like, the Paradox Brothers thing was, in some way a, like, test run, like, in-universe for, like, the technology of we're gonna build a dungeon and you move through the dungeon.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
Yeah, because I can totally see that.
It like, probably was even a thing with Takahashi where he was like, I like the idea of a dungeon, but it's, doesn't really make sense for Dungeon Dice Monsters. Oh, what the hell is a fucking fly in here?
Oh, no!
1 second. Okay, so we were talking about that, yes, maybe Takahashi during the not the Paradox Brothers.
The Make-You Brothers?
Yes, the Make-You Brothers, the Labyrinth Brothers. Why would it be Paradox? What about it is a paradox? Nothing about it is a paradox. But yeah, that arc might have been like, you know, getting ready for this. Not getting ready for it, but like an idea that he later was like, "Ooh, I have a better idea for how to do that." Because again, it just doesn't make that much sense with the cards.
Yeah, and like we know he really likes just games in general. Like even now that he doesn't do Yu-Gi-Oh stuff that much anymore, and he's just kind of vibing.
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic, he just kept on making games, and he has like a little 3D printer, and he was just making little pieces, and he's like, you could put these together. Or what if you did a 3-dimensional game? I came up with this in my spare time. I'm not going to sell it or anything.
Yeah.
This is just an idea. So I fully imagine he was just focusing on like duelist stuff, and in the background it was like, well, this would be a really cool idea for a dungeon game. What if you made the whole dungeon with the dice?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can just envision it so clearly in my head.
Yeah. Like, yeah, Takahashi is Ryuji. He is I just create a bunch of fucking games that everybody loves.
Yeah.
But yeah, not sure if there's anything else to say about this arc specifically. Just really loved it. Again, I love the monster designs we get in, you know, the cards as well, but the specific little 3D statue ones I like so much more because it is like with the cards, it's like, this is like just a thing. This is a monster, and I can pose it however I want to and move it around and do attacks and stuff like that. Versus this is like here's what it looks like. This is what the figure would look like. Exactly.
Yeah. Like, that is something that I feel like you genuinely can't do very well unless you are a gamer, in the sense that, like, you have to be able to envision it in 3-dimensional space as a, like, this is going to look good at most angles, because I'm going to draw it at all these different angles, and not even in a big flex way, but just in a, you know, Dark Yugi's talking, and we're just going to see the board on the side, and the board just, like, looks like that.
Yeah. And I have to draw it looking like the material those are made out of, like plastic or whatever. Like, you know, I think that's why just the style they're drawn in is like very specific, as opposed to the dual monsters can be anything, you know? They can be metal, they can be wood, they can be whatever the fuck, you know, that creature is supposed to look like. It can be a machine, it can be a revolver dragon, it can be whatever the fuck. But with this, it's like, I have to be able to make it fit in that. You know, how do I simplify a design down to that small?
Yeah.
And, like, again, having to draw it, like, much more puffy, much more, like, it's just, you know, he draws it looking like an actual figurine. Like, the texture and everything. It's fucking perfect. I love it. Yeah, I think that's it for the arc. Anything else we want to say about, like, the anime? Any other tidbits you have? Actually, was there any interesting thing with Jidochi being in a dog costume and Honda showing off his dog first time this arc?
I don't think so, sadly.
Ah.
No, they whiffed it there.
Did Honda even have his dog in the anime? Don't remember.
I don't think he did. I think they definitely mentioned him having a dog at least once or twice.
Okay.
So that's consistent, but yeah, I don't even think we see him.
Ah.
Which does suck, because I do also appreciate this for having, you know, just like a little more slice of life stuff. You can't do that much slice of life on an island.
Yeah, I really like, the slice of life stuff we got in this. Just seeing a little bit more of each of the characters, and like, you know, everybody going in to buy some of the dice as well, and I'm just such a sucker for the, like, specifically, like, someone in Japan, like an anime character having, like, a giant dog.
Oh, yeah.
It's so, like, not the culture over there, where it's just, like, you usually have, like, a tiny dog and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, it's always such a big deal or whatever. It's like, look at this person who has, like, a giant dog in Japan. It's always like, haha, look at that. But I love it, such a sucker for it. It's got that, like, size difference. Like, this dog's not as big as you.
Because, yeah, we also don't really touch on Honda very much. Like, Joji has the very, like, you know, desperate backstory of, you know, like, his father's a piece of crap, and his sister doesn't live with him, you know, like, you know, his parents had a divorce. Yeah. Like, very dire straits. Whereas Honda doesn't really have dire straits as far as we know.
No, yeah.
Like, he's living comfortably enough, it's just we don't really talk about him because he's like, yeah, I'm doing fine.
Yeah. He's like the babysitter, you know. He was watching after his was it his sister's kid?
Yeah, sister's kid.
His sister's kid. Which I was like, how old is his sister? I wonder.
Yeah,
like, you know, must be quite old as an adult, I imagine.
Yeah, because none of his friends bring it up and say like, holy crap, she's really young. It's have a kid.
Yeah, so I would imagine, you know, he's got a pretty older sister, and he already looks pretty old for himself being a teen. Like, he looks the oldest out of all of them.
Yeah. And, like, wherever he's living, it's a place that not just allows pets, but allows a big-ass dog.
Yeah, giant fucking dog. And yeah, like, you know, so he like looks after a little kid, he looks after a dog, you know, he was the one who went to go find Bakura and everything like that. He's like the very, like, caretaker kind of person,
Yeah.
it feels like. Yeah, and am I remembering that wrong? Was he the one that first noticed that Yu was missing and stuff like that?
He might have.
Yeah, so it was, he was the first one that, that noticed. Also the fact that his dog hates Junochi.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so Honda was the first one that was like, by the way, where is Yugi? And he wasn't even there, like, everybody else was there the whole time. He shows up and he's like, where's Yugi? Why did Bakura go in that store?
Yeah, it's the caretaker role is something that a lot of other series would have put on Anzu, but because like Honda's more of the guy who kind of just like takes care of the side stuff, like it also does free up Anzu to be more of a weirder character. Like she's so out there sometimes.
Yeah,
she's so like, I'm gonna be the one who takes the chance, or I've got this idea. Yeah, like I really like the construction of the friend group.
Same. And yeah, Anzu's been a little bit on the back burner recently, so I hope she gets more stuff next arc, because for like the second half of Duelist Kingdom and this arc, you know, haven't been focusing on her that much, which I understand, because we're focusing a lot on Jinochi and a lot on Bakura. So, you know, I appreciate the switching it up and stuff like that. But yeah, that's it. Excited to see where we're going with Bakura. Excited to see what the next arc's gonna be.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
That's about it.
Go get the reactions, motherfuckers.
Good ass reactions.
Go get those reactions. Once again, Yu-Gi-Oh! Loving the shit so much.
Love it.
Top manga already. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, I probably would not be saying that if I watched the anime. I'd probably be like, oh yeah, I'm pretty nostalgic for it. But reading the manga, if you haven't read the manga, either go watch our fucking reactions or read the manga yourself, because it is... I don't know why you were listening to this whole discussion if you've only seen the anime. Because we barely talk about... Like, we talk about so much shit that you've never seen.
Yeah.
The vast majority of what we're talking about is stuff you've never seen.
It's so unbelievably different.
So go read the manga. Go watch my reactions. Check them out. Best reactions I've done for shit in a long, long time. Fantastic. Go check it out. Bye-bye. Get the fuck out of here, I mean.